WUSA 9 Weather Impact Alert is sponsored by Morgan & Morgan.
Good Wednesday afternoon. I'm meteorologist Caitlin McGrath, and we do have a weather impact alert that will be in effect until midnight tonight for a round of storms that could bring isolated flash flooding, possibly some gusty wind as well. So you know the drill by this point. Try and stay off the roads as these storms are rolling through, really between about 6 and midnight. That's when we'll see the strongest storms, the heaviest rain. Always avoid flooded roadways. No amount of water is safe to drive through, and it's going to be a great night to have our WUSA 9 app. You can track the storms right in your hand, and you'll get an alert sent straight to your phone if a flash flood warning is issued. Now, we do have the flood watch in effect for most of the D.C. area. It does not include southern Maryland down into the northern neck of Virginia because the heaviest downpours really do look to stay north and west of D.C. I think the greatest threat is probably going to be somewhere around northern Virginia, but when you get these 2 to 4-inch rainfall rates per hour, even metro areas have the potential to flood because storm drains can't always keep up with that much rain in a short period of time. So as we take you hour by hour using Futurecast, this is right around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Only a few isolated showers or downpours at the onset tonight. This is 6 o'clock, still not much on radar, but keep in mind it is so hot and it is so humid outside. There's so much moisture in the atmosphere that any storm will be capable of producing that really heavy rain, and there's nothing to kind of move these storms along. So where they just kind of bubble up and stay in place, that's where we'll be watching the flood threat. By 9 o'clock, we start to see some of those heftier storms moving into parts of northern Virginia, slowly kind of chugging east throughout the late evening hours. And that's really the window when we will be watching for isolated flash flooding. Now, don't focus so much on the number you see in any particular town here, just the idea that where we see that bullseye of rain could bring a quick 2 to 3 inches of rain. And the ground is already really saturated from the storms we saw on Monday, so it will not take much for flash flooding, and some storms could produce some gusty wind. And again, with that soft ground, trees can uproot. We might see a few snapped branches, so some stronger storms not off the table either, but flooding is definitely our biggest concern. Our dew point today is in the mid 70s. That is truly just about as uncomfortable as it gets. A super tropical air mass that will lead to those tropical downpours this evening, and it's also making our temperatures feel about 10 degrees hotter than they actually are at any point throughout the afternoon and evening. Even into the overnight, temperatures will be feeling hotter than whatever the thermometer or the temperature on your phone is reading. This is right around 4 o'clock today. Most areas will top off in the upper 90s for feels like temperatures, but tomorrow will be even hotter. Actual temperatures are in the mid 90s. Humidity will be just as sticky. So tomorrow we're near heat advisory criteria with feels like temperatures in the triple digits. And whether we get a heat advisory or not, this is the type of heat that you need to take those heat safety precautions. Stay hydrated, make sure you're taking breaks from the sun, avoiding outdoor activities during the hottest part of the day. So especially if you do have outdoor plans or the kids are heading to camp, make sure you have that conversation about how to stay safe on really hot days like Thursday. And tomorrow will be another day with those isolated showers and storms in the afternoon. They do look to come in a little bit earlier tomorrow, generally anytime after 2 o'clock. You might see an isolated shower or downpour by 6 o'clock. Most of those storms are already pushing east of 95, and Thursday evening will be mainly dry. But you know the drill. It's so hot. It's so humid. Isolated flooding will likely once again be possible on Thursday. Now, speaking of flooding, we're keeping an eye on the tropics and a big area of low pressure that right now is kind of hovering right over the Florida Panhandle, which is best case scenario. If that low were to drift a little farther off to the south and interact with the really warm water in the Gulf of Mexico, it could potentially lead to some more tropical development. So right now there's a 40% chance this would become our next named storm, which would be Dexter, but as long as it stays over land, it should stay at bay. Now, it's still going to produce some really, really heavy rain all along the Gulf Coast here over the next several days, especially as we get closer to Friday around parts of New Orleans. That's where we could see the bullseye of heaviest rain between 3 and 6 inches, which no doubt would cause some flooding concerns. So keep that in mind if you do have loved ones in the area. And again, we'll be keeping a close eye on the exact track of this low, some of our spaghetti plots. And keep in mind the spaghetti plots represent a different potential outcome by various different computer models. Some of them do bring the storm a little farther to the south, and if it gets that interaction with really warm Gulf water, we could see that area of low pressure strengthen. Now, where it goes once it moves on shore, still a little up in the air. It does look like a track Pretty solid, though, somewhere over parts of Louisiana. Now, closer to home, our daily shower and storm chances continue all the way into next week. It does look a little bit drier, a little bit more stable by Monday and Tuesday, so only a few isolated storms possible. Tonight is going to be the day with the most storm activity, and then we'll start to taper off those storm chances to just isolated as we head into the weekend.